All right, we'll do a little bit of a roll on the throttle in second gear and see what happens. Son of a bitch. Hey guys, and welcome back. It's been a bit of a hiatus for me, but January and February were really busy months for me, and I didn't want to just go and make content for the sake of making content. I did work on a few videos that I didn't get a chance to finish due to scheduling conflicts, so those will probably come out sometime later. But in today's video, what we're going to focus on is my plans for this racing season and what I came up with to have somewhat of a competitive edge. Now, SCCA rules are kind of strict for street class, but there is some vagueness in some things. So what I'm going to do, or already started doing, I guess, what you'll see in this video, is putting as much wheel and tire as I possibly can on the C63. My biggest Achilles heel throughout all of last season was just the inability to put power down. The front end on the car was good. It did pretty well considering the amount of weight it's lugging around, but I constantly had wheel spin issues. I probably at most used 50 to 60% of throttle most times. I'd lose so much time just coming out of tight corners and tight chicanes, because the second I would unleash the fury, it would just turn the rear tires to smithereens. So in an effort to be a little bit more competitive, because after the season finale and we had a 1LE Camaro that honestly I think should be in Super Street class, not F Street, I kind of ran out of ideas. I could not keep pace with them, and I just couldn't put the power down, so even if I tried to push the car harder, I just ended up spinning the wheels and losing even more time. So the hole in the rules that I found, and we'll see if I get found a cheater, but in SCCA rules when it comes to wheel and tire package, it does not specify anything about staggered setups. So my car out of factory has 8-inch wheels in the front and 9-inch wheels in the back. And the only thing you can do according to rules is get wheels of equivalent offset and equivalent width to put on the car. You can't go wider than stock, which is a huge limiting factor. But it doesn't specify anything about going with a square setup. So what I have done is I will run my rears on the front, and right now in the background I've already test fitted it. That's the rear tire and wheel combo on the front. And what I did is I purchased another set of rear wheels and wider tires. And I'm still within rules because I'm not going more than 20 millimeters wider than stock. So I am still within the rules. Technically, I'm just running a lot more tire all around. So now I'll have two 55s in the front and two 75s in the back, which I'm hoping it will help me put the power down, which effectively makes my front wheels now just into wall art because I don't have a use for them anymore. So I just gotta get them swapped around. I'm gonna have to put the car up on jack stands because there's only a handful of people I trust not to damage my brand new wheels when mounting tires, and we'll get them mounted. One side thing to note is stock C63 wheels are incredibly difficult to find. Any companies that make refurbished ones are out of stock on them. Finding OEM ones is really difficult. I had to buy one wheel from Canada and another one from Colorado and wait weeks to get them just because of how rare these wheels are actually to come by. Speaking of the next event, I might have made some sort of impression on the club because they invited me to be a novice instructor for their novice school that they're doing the day prior to the first event of the season. Now, I don't particularly have to run this car, but they'll let us run our cars on the course that we set up. But I might switch it up a notch, and I might either run the Golf or the GLC just for fun, because they will allow us to have some fun runs as instructors. So might as well, it'd probably be a good idea to get my feet wet with the new wheel and tire setup. but I also think it'd be a lot of fun to try the C63 or the Golf R at an autocross. Either way, let's break this thing down, get these wheels and tires mounted, and we'll see how they work. And within a few minutes on your time, a few days on mine, tires are mounted, they clear. One thing I'm not so thrilled about with myself, I didn't realize it till the tires came in. I didn't even think about it that I should have probably gone with a 30 series sidewall instead of a 35. So they look a little bit balloony, but it's not too bad. Now I guess it's time to find out if they finally grip some and scrub them in a little bit too at that point. Do a little bit of a roll on the throttle in second gear and see what happens. Son of a bitch. Well, it doesn't look like we completely cured the traction issues, but I think it's significantly better. Mind you, it's 65 degrees outside, so it's not the warmest of days, and the tires weren't warmed up, but they seem to be getting more and more grippy. Obviously, they gotta get scrubbed in some more, so I have high hopes that I resolve that. However, there are a couple of small problems. Besides the fact that they look a little bit balloony, I do have very, very slight rubbage in the back. I don't know if it's on the inner fender liner or if I have to roll my fenders out a little bit. I was hoping I could avoid that. I probably could have if I got 30 series sidewalls instead of 35s, but it's kind of too late to do anything about it now, so I'll deal with it accordingly. But on a really big train track bump, I did hear a slight rub. Other than that, around all corners, you know, the front and everything else doesn't seem to have any rubbing issues, so that's a plus. We'll do a quick test around this corner now that they got a little bit of temp in them and see how the car reacts if I just Scandinavian flick it. That was grip. That was grip, hard acceleration. Wow. Well, maybe we resolved it after all. So really the only thing I have to do is I got to take a look at and see if there's anything I could do about this rubbing type situation. Hopefully I could resolve it pretty easily and pretty quickly off camera. The next video you guys are going to see of the C63 is going to be at the first event of the season. Now, like I mentioned, it is a 2-day event, and the first day is a novice school, and I don't necessarily have to run the car. I'm going to run all season because it's a non-points thing, but they're going to let the instructors have some fun runs and so on. So as an instructor, I might either bring Lawrence GLC or I might bring the Golf R just to have some fun with something different. We'll see. I haven't decided on that one yet. As for the C63, I think it's pretty much ready to go for the season. I haven't seen the full schedule. They have not released the full schedule yet, so I don't know if I'll be able to run the whole season. That remains to be determined. I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately, I have a lot of stuff planned for this year, so I may end up missing some events. We'll see when they do release the schedule and see if I'll have any conflicts. You know, with spending the money and the effort on going with wider tires, I'd like to get the most out of it and actually run the whole season and maybe fight for the win. We'll see. It's still supposed to be fun. I just want to be able to be more competitive and fix the Achilles heel of this car. Now, I mentioned I don't know if this is technically illegal, if it will bump me out of class. There's nothing written against it, so I think I am just fine running essentially a square setup with a staggered tire setup on this car and remain in street class. I'm still using OEM wheels, OEM supplied with the car as the rules are written or equivalent to OEM spec. So hopefully I'm fine. If not, I'll get bumped up to a higher class, and that higher class is street prepared. And honestly, I cleaned up that class pretty well in F Street prepared. Comparing my times, I think I was like 3 to 5 seconds quicker than the competition. So either way, that would probably, unless somebody shows up with a quicker car, put me in pretty good shape. But it's kind of fun to be, you know, competing with cars that are all over this street class. F Street is so versatile when it comes to what types of cars show up. Anything from my C63s in it, to a GT500 Mustangs in it, to an older Mustang. It's all over the place. So it makes it for interesting competition because you're comparing cars normally you would never think would be all in the same class. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you if you subscribe. If not, please do like, comment, give me ideas. Maybe you have some more info about this SCCA classing and if I'm in the wrong here, but I think I'm okay. And we'll leave it off here. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.